Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 402. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. The 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. Now, I got to tell you guys, I'm not coming hard at you because I'm guilty of a couple of these things myself. But through my 20 years as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and a business coach, I've seen some real dumb stuff, guys. Once again, that's part of the process, so it's a little tongue-in-cheek. But some of this stuff, guys, is real dumb, and we're going to focus on it. Now, because you may have made these mistakes or currently are making these mistakes, doesn't mean that you can't change. But I really want to hit you to these 5 things that can really kill your business. Now, before we get to today's show, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's show, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and my resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Also, 2 platforms I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. Also, make sure you check out BEBAcademy.com. It's our online portal that has all types of resources, online courses, master classes, templates, and tutorials to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. You can go and get 3 days free access to everything in the academy. Go to BEBAcademy.com. Also, guys, I mentioned last week, I'm coming out to LA. I'm super excited. We're going to be doing BEB Live in LA. And it's a free event, guys, Saturday, April 9th from 1 to 4 p.m. I'm actually going to be interviewing filmmaker Melvin Graham. He's the producer of the upcoming Amazon Prime documentary, Black Business LA. So make sure you go to BEBlive.com and register. It is totally free. Now, once I interview Melvin live, then we're going to take a Q&A from the audience. After that, we're going to do a little meet and greet, and we're going to have some libations out there and some food. So you'll get a chance to meet Melvin and myself, chop it up, and we're going to have a good time in LA. Go to BEBlive.com and register. The event is free, but we have limited seating and it's filling up. So if you're in the LA area, make sure you come on out. I love to see the BEB LA family out there. Saturday, April 9th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're going to be in West Hollywood at a theater called Oh My Ribs Theater. And it's going to be a great time. And we're going to talk about Black entrepreneurship, the importance of Black businesses, and also the interview with my man, Melvin Graham. BEBlive.com. Make sure you register now. Seats are going fast. Looking forward to seeing the BEB family out there. Now, today's Black Entrepreneur Blueprint podcast episode is sponsored by Podcaster Weekly, the newsletter. Build a 6-figure podcast. Go to podcasterweekly.com and register for the newsletter. So if you're serious about building a profitable podcast, subscribe to Podcaster Weekly for all the podcast news and resources you need to build a 6-figure podcast. Each week, you'll receive 3 issues filled with actionable content and resources, including workshops, templates, and tools to build your business. Now, on Monday, you'll receive the latest podcast news and updates. Wednesday, you'll receive actionable steps and tools to grow your podcast. And on Friday, they'll share all of their favorite links for the week. So make sure you go to podcasterweekly.com if you're serious about building a six-figure podcast. It's a great newsletter. All right, let's jump into today's show topic, the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. Now, before we get to those 5 things, I just want to talk about just starting your business. So the first thing I want to discuss really isn't a dumb thing, but it's not starting your business, guys. So you can't fail or succeed if you never start. So stop playing around and do something. Somebody's got to do something. That's a joke me and my boys always talk about. Somebody's got to do something. All right. So the time is never going to be optimal. It's never going to be a perfect time to start your business. But there are so many great entrepreneurs that have never started a business. And you don't even know if you can be a great entrepreneur because you haven't even tried. So please, guys, stop having paralysis by analysis. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many master classes you go to. I don't care how many courses that you look at. You got to start doing something, putting that information to work, taking action. You can start slow. Now, one of the things is too, guys, don't be a reluctant entrepreneur. Reluctant entrepreneur is an entrepreneur that's forced to be an entrepreneur because they lose their job, right? So I always say, guys, the best time to start a business is when you have a job. All right. So if something happens, God forbid, you'll still have another stream of income. But I just wanted to implore you guys out there that are on that seesaw. You're not ready to make the move yet. What's stopping you? No time is going to be optimal. So get at it. Somebody's got to do something. All right. So we're talking about the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. And like I said, when I say dumb, I'm just playing around. But these are mistakes that a lot of business owners make, myself included. I've made a couple of these. The first one is you don't have proof of concept. OK, so in order to build a viable business, guys, you have to have proof of concept before you invest your time, money and resources into a project. So true proof of concept really comes when somebody goes into Hip Pocket National and they buy your product or service. You can do all the focus groups you want. You can ask all your friends, do they like this product, this, that, and the other thing? And of course, they'll probably say yes, but that doesn't denote into conversion. If some of my friends, oh yeah, I love this. How many times have you asked your friend to support you in a business, friend or family member, and they never bought your product? They tell you they're going to buy it or they tell you it's a good product, but they never go into their pockets and buy it. So proof of concept before you waste a lot of time and a lot of resources. So how do you get proof of concept? So you always want to create a minimum viable product to test before you go all in. A minimum viable product is a product that may not be totally finished yet, but it's close enough or viable enough to get some feedback. All right. So, for example, and I mentioned this on the show several times, I used to sell a supplement. It was a nootropic, right? And the supplement was to help you focus better, and it had a caffeine in it and all kind of stuff. So what I did was I contacted the manufacturer. All right. I private labeled it under my name. I bought about 5 sample bottles. I tried it. So I had a couple other people try it before I sell it. Anytime you're doing supplements, if you're serious about it, guys, make sure you try them first or you have somebody try them to make sure that they're quality products. So I thought that it worked. And so what I did was I got the price of 100 units. So I said, how much is 100 units going to cost me? It was like $4 a bottle. So what I did was I didn't buy 100 units. I only bought 5 sample units so I could test it and other people could test it. But what I did was I got a graphic designer to actually create an image of my bottle, of my brand. And I started testing it online before I bought the 100 units. And this is what I did. I called the manufacturer. I said, hey, how fast would it take you if I have my labels already made up for you to ship me 100 units if I want to make that order? And they were like, oh, about 3 to 4 days. No problem. So now what I do is, remember, I'm only 5 bottles in, like $20 in. I create the website. I drive traffic to the website. And my offer was you pay shipping and handling free bottle, but you pay shipping and handling $6.95, and after 30 days you're going to get billed $29.97 each month. It was a continuity program. So what I said was, if I sell 25 to 30 bottles, then what I'll do is I'll go order the 100 bottles from the manufacturer with my label on it and fulfill them. And so after about a week, I had like 28 orders. I'm like, damn, this is good. So this works. And I ordered the 100 bottles. I wanted to create a minimum viable product, and I literally did that without buying a whole bunch of inventory. Okay, so that's something you want to do if you want to get proof of concept. All right. Now, I also talked about a story of another good friend of mine. This is an opposite story, right? In terms of proof of concept. So we were going to go in together on a black razor blade company, right? This is before bevel and all of that stuff. They were disposable razors. And so I was telling him, I'm like, look, dude, let's go in and let's buy the samples first. And I said, with the samples, I know that if we don't buy a lot, they're going to cost a decent amount of money. And I said, but we're not trying to make a profit on the initial order. We were going to order like 100 of them. And I forgot what the price was. It was a 6-pack or something like that of these razors and disposable razors. And so I was like, dude, we don't need to order 5,000 razors. Yeah, but if we order 5,000, we'll get them at $2 for a 6-pack, blah, 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 blah. I said, that's not the point. I said, we need to find out if we'll be able to sell them first. So long story short, he didn't believe me. So I said, dude, I'm not doing this. I'm not spending all this money for 5,000 razors and we don't have proof of concept yet. Now, fast forward, he buys 5,000. He's on his own now, doesn't know what to do with them. And guess what happened? Those razors are probably still sitting in his garage. I know the last time I was over his house, man, I saw about 20 boxes of razors. And this was literally 4 or 5 years ago. So there was no proof of concept. So number one mistake or dumb things entrepreneurs do, don't have proof of concept. Now, how else do you get proof of concept? Somebody else is doing it successfully. But you have to make sure that you're comparing yourself to a similar size organization or company. All right, because sometimes if you have a competitor, they may have economies of scale, meaning they may be able to buy in bulk, which reduces their per unit cost. So you can't compare yourself with somebody like in the razor game, Gillette, right? Because obviously they're manufacturing, disposable razors probably for pennies, whereas we couldn't buy them at that low rate. So once again, if somebody else is doing something similar, that's proof of concept too, right? So for example, if you sell handmade baskets, but you have to sell them at twice the amount of retail chain store sells because you can't buy the volume that they do. So if you see a woven basket in Target or something like that, they're not creating those baskets. They're buying them from a manufacturer also. Difference is they're buying in bulk and volume, which gives them or creates economies of scale. And you're buying by 10 or 50 or 100 a unit. So you can't compete. But make sure that you get proof of concept. That's the number one thing, dumbest thing that entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. Now, let's talk about number two. Number two, you have no idea how to market your product or service effectively. You have no idea how to market your product or service effectively. And this happens a lot of times with most entrepreneurs because it's something new that they're not used to doing. But guys, we're all in the marketing business. I don't care what you sell, what product or service you sell. We're all in the marketing business. I guarantee you you have competitors selling the same product or service you're selling. The difference is who can market it better. All right, so who markets the best will usually win. And many business owners don't have a marketing system written down and don't even know how to create one. So you have to be able to market your product or service profitably, and you can't spend more than you make. So I talk about this all the time. If you're selling a $20 product and it costs you $5 to create or build, that means if you sold it right away with no expenses, that would be additional expenses that you make $15. But if it takes you $15 to market that product, that means it costs $5 plus 15. That's a $20 product. That's what you're selling it for. And that's what the money you spent to make one conversion. So you literally made no money. So the better you can market, the more profitable you could be. Okay. So how do you build a marketing system? All right. And I've talked about this ad nauseum, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because this is serious business, guys. The first thing you want to do is you want to build a platform to communicate with your audience. So you need to start building your platform, guys, in advance of starting your business. Okay. So we always get it backwards. Most times if we're creating a product and or a service or whatever, we always talk about what we always focus on creating that product or service. Then once we finish it, then we scratch our heads and start looking around. Well, damn, who am I going to sell it to? So if you're smart and if you're experienced, you're going to build your platform and your database before your product or service comes out. Perfect example. If you have an online course and your online course teaches people how to become a successful podcaster, it may take you several weeks to build that course. But while you're doing that, you need to be creating your list. So you can have a lead magnet, the 5 things all successful podcasters do, or something like that, to create and build a list. And now what you're doing is you're building a platform. So your platform could be a podcast, it could be a newsletter, it can be an email list, it can be a website or video content. But here's the caveat, guys. You must own the platform. Okay, you don't own Instagram, you don't own Facebook, you don't own Twitter, you don't own TikTok. Social media is great, but you don't own it. What you want to do is you want to leverage social media to build your platform. So my podcast, nobody can stop me from doing this podcast, right? My newsletter, nobody can stop me from doing my newsletter. My email list, nobody can stop me from sending out emails to my audience, right? My website, nobody can stop me from driving people to my website. My video content. Now, if I have it on YouTube, YouTube can stop me, right? So YouTube is a great place, but you need to have your videos somewhere else also. So how do you build a marketing system? The first thing it is building a platform. And I just want to dig a little deeper real quick. So if you build a platform, right, there's so many different things that you can sell. And I'm going to give you an example of it's hotel marketing newsletter. I think it's called hotel marketing, but I get it because I used to sell in a previous life. I used to sell to the hotel industry. And in that newsletter, they monetize the newsletters by sponsorship. So they have all types of software for hotels in terms of booking and marketing and management. So they do sponsorships. They have their own product that they sell and they're monetizing it like crazy. So just imagine if you had an industry newsletter and all the type of products or services that you could sell. You could sell online courses to the hotel management, how to book more people. You know, you can do affiliate projects. You can do sponsorships. So when you have a platform, you literally have so many options to monetize it. It's crazy. And that platform is the core of your marketing. So number 2, you have no idea how to market your product or service effectively. So how do you build that marketing system? Number 1, build a platform. And number 2, generate leads on a consistent basis. This is something, guys, that you need to focus on. I always tell you guys, I don't look at my bank account first thing in the morning. What I look at is how many new people have I put in my database, because it all correlates. Okay. So the more people I have in my database going through my funnels, I know the more money I'm going to make. It's just a function of the numbers. So people always talk about systematizing your business. Okay. So you have launch, build, and grow, the 3 different stages of a business, or startup, systematize, and scale. So the first 2 systems you need to focus on are, number 1, you need a lead generation system. And number 2, you need a fulfillment system. Those are the first 2 systems you focus on. Nothing else. You can do operations and procedures and all of that stuff later, but those are the first 2 systems. So example, Instagram or Facebook ads that lead to a landing page that has a lead magnet attached. You get their name, email address, and you build their list. That's a simple lead generation system. And you need to have it working on a consistent basis. You need to have a consistent amount of leads coming in. So if you don't have any leads, that means what? You don't have anybody to sell to. So those of you who are old enough to remember the Maytag commercials, it was a guy, since Maytag was supposedly such a good washing machine, the Maytag repairman never had anything to do. So he'd be sitting in the office with his feet up on the desk, and because he had nothing to do. And that's what you're going to be like if you don't have a lead generation system. You're going to be like the Maytag repairman. All right, you need consistent leads. And what we're talking about today, guys, is the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. And when I say dumb, I'm being tongue in cheek. I don't mean that you're dumb because you're not doing this stuff. It's a matter of being experienced and understanding what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And trust me, I'm on some of these lists myself, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. All right. Number 3, you aren't clear about who you serve and the one outcome you provide. So unfortunately, many business owners start out without a clear target market and without a clear income for that target market. So you want one outcome for one target market. So you don't want to mix messages and outcomes for multiple target markets. And I'm going to give you an example. So you must be clear and concise. So how do you create a clear message and outcome? You identify your most ideal target and market and identify that outcome that target market will receive. For example, I do group coaching for entrepreneurs. Now, when I started my group coaching program, I had people that had all types of issues and problems. One guy may not be able to generate leads. He needs a lead generation system, right? Somebody else may need product refinement. Somebody else needs help in terms of building and scaling their organization. And so when I started doing my coaching, I was all over the place because every different person I was coaching had a different issue or problem. And it's hard to scale that, right? So what I had to do, guys, is I had to come up with a clear message. I had to focus on one particular outcome for my entrepreneurs. And that one outcome is scaling your business. So my coaching program now, all I focus on is scaling your business. Not how to create a marketing system or how to find a winning product or service. I had to find the one outcome and focus on that. Now, by doing that, it enabled me to go deeper with each coaching client. So if I'm saying, hey, I'm doing business coaching, what's the outcome? Well, my outcome now is I'm going to help you scale your business. Before it was, okay, what do you need help with, Bob? Okay, I can help you do that. Oh, John, what do you need help with over there? Oh, Sandy, what do you need help with? And it was all over the place. So you have to come up with one clear outcome for your audience or your prospects. Okay, so if you are a fitness coach, right? So what's the one clear outcome? Lose weight, get in better shape or whatever. So you have to determine what that is. You come into this training program, you're going to lose weight and be in better health. That's one outcome. All right. So it's not multiple outcomes. And I think a lot of times we have to get super clear with our audience and with our message and what that outcome is. So I always talk about the ABC sentence. I help A do B by C. All right. I help Black entrepreneurs build their business by teaching them specific tactics and techniques to help them scale. That's just off the top of my head. But I help A do B by C. And that's how you can really hone in, okay, and get that one specific outcome that you provide. When you say, oh, I'm a life coach, I help make your life better. What's my outcome? We don't know, right? Because you haven't defined it. Who's your audience? Oh, everybody's my audience. That means nobody's your audience. I help young professional women improve in their life. I'm off the top of my head right now. But you got to find a specific target market and a specific outcome. Okay. I help young professional women thrive in corporate America. All right. That's my target market and my outcome. And so you want to be very specific. And what we're talking about today, guys, is the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. That was number 3. You aren't clear about who you serve and the one outcome you provide. Now, number 4, you give up too much equity when you start your business. So when you start your business, many times you don't have a lot of money. So in exchange for paying someone, you may give them equity into your business. Now, I've seen people give away 40% of their company for like $10,000 because they were desperate. And to me, that's one of the worst moves you can ever make. All right. Bad move that you'll probably regret and resent in the future. So years ago, and here's a real life example. Years ago, when my buddy and I started our condom company, we had a graphic artist who is amazing. He's an amazing artist. Actually, I ran into him not too long ago. And he was like, yo, I'll create y'all logo and your graphics and all of this stuff. Now, this was in the mid-90s, early mid-90s. And he was like, yeah, in exchange, I know y'all don't have money. In exchange, I want to get 10% of your profits in perpetuity, meaning forever. And we were like, dude, you must be insane. Why would we do that just because you're creating a logo and the graphics? Now, they were hot now, but we were like, nah, bro. We knew that if we would have entered into that deal, that we would have resented it. We probably would have ended up choking this dude out, man. But we knew it's not good business. So a lot of times you have to be cognizant of not what's going on today, but what your business is going to be in the future. So how do you build a company without giving up too much equity? So one of the things you can do is, instead of giving up equity, you can structure the investment as a loan so that you'll pay that back over time. So instead of saying $10,000 is 40% of your business, you see this on Shark Tank all the time. People try to turn that into a loan so the investor doesn't have equity in the business. So you say, hey, all right, you give me 10 grand, I'm going to pay you back whatever, 12.5 or whatever in a year, whatever that is, whatever a decent amount of return is. And so that way you still have control of your equity. Okay. Now, here's another real life example. A cousin of mine is in the sportswear space. And one of the things that he was looking for, he was trying to give up some equity to fulfill some orders. And I was like, nah, do not give up equity to fulfill orders. If you need money to fulfill orders, then you go to an invoice factoring company. And so that way, if you're getting purchase orders from Walmart, Target, any of the major stores, you can take that purchase order and go to a factoring or financing company, and they'll be like, oh, you need $100,000 for that order? That's fine. It's going to cost you 2.5%. So they'll give you the 100,000 minus 2.5, 97,500. You go fulfill, your order, which may cost you 50,000. And so you still have your profit on top of that, minus the 2,500 that they took from you. And you give up no equity whatsoever. All you're doing basically is they're taking 2.5% of the invoice amount for giving you that short-term capital. All right. So how do you build a company without giving up too much equity? Like I said, number one, instead of giving out equity, structure an investment as a loan, or you can create or barter a situation where you give them something for their work. So if you're building an e-commerce business, and say you're doing I'll use the example of the newsletter, right? Say you're doing a newsletter and you need a professional website design. Maybe then you can advertise or have them be a sponsor of the newsletter so they can get business. You give them the sponsorship for free because they help create your website. That's called bartering. So they're getting money because they're going to be seen, and it's free advertising to them. So that's how you build a company without giving up too much equity. So that was number 4, giving up too much equity when you start your business. Number 5, you don't pick equally yoked partners to partner with. You don't pick equally yoked partners to partner with. So partnerships, guys, can make or break your business. So many times we choose our business partners based on our relationships with them, as opposed to if they're a good fit for the business. So it could be a good friend. I've done that before. Worked out well sometime, other times it didn't. Could be a family member or whatever. But you need to pick your business partner, and they should be able to complement what you do and vice versa. So if they're strong in a particular area, you're weak in. You're strong in a particular area that they're weak in. So you complement each other. So once again, it's not just about, yo, that's my boy, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm telling you, expectations in a partnership, in a marriage, or any type of relationship will make or break you. So if somebody does not meet or exceed your expectations, guess what? You're going to have an issue. It's just like a husband and wife. If, the expectation is that I do A, B, and C, and I don't do A, B, and C, then there's going to be an issue. Same thing with business partnerships. Now, here's the thing, guys. How do you find equally yoked partners? So number one, make sure you both have the same goals and objectives for the business. You got to have the same goals and objectives for the business. And this is a real life example, and I'm guilty of this. All right. So it was me and two of my boys, and they happen to be brothers. And we started this bamboo pillow company. This was years ago. We had carts in malls and all of that stuff. And me and one of the brothers who, we were on the same line, mindset. We're going to learn this system. And instead of selling somebody else's brand, we're going to eventually create our own brand. Okay. So why am I going to keep selling somebody else's when I can sell my own? And my other partner, my boy's brother, was like, yo, man, I'm just trying to sell pillows. So he'd come to work. He wouldn't be dressed appropriately, and he wasn't mentally in the game. See, for us, we had the same objective. We're going to learn this system. And now, instead of us being out there in the mall, we had employees, but we had to learn the business first. We're going to be the ones that are creating or the branding the pillows and all the other stuff in the sheets. And we're going to sell them to other people that have carts in the malls. So it was a process. But once again, we getting word from management at the malls that this dude's coming in sweatsuits and sneakers when we supposed to wear like khakis, and we had this these button down shirts and stuff that we would wear. It was like a uniform. Everybody else was adhering to the basic policies, but he was on some other type of time. So make sure you have the same goals and objectives for the business. Now, they're real blood brothers. We all are brothers, but they're blood brothers, and they literally almost came to blows and didn't speak for a while because we weren't on the same path. We had different goals and objectives for the business. All right, and we're talking about number 5. You don't pick equally yoked partners to partner with. And so how do you find equally yoked partners? Number 1, make sure you both have the same goals and objectives in business. I don't care if you're family members, friends, or whatever. Business is business. Next is understand your partner's financial needs. So do you need to draw income from the business right away, or are you willing to defer compensation until the business is able to provide it without crippling the business? This is a real life example. I literally was just talking to one of my old college roommates about 2 weeks ago. So he started a trucking business with one of his boys, right? Now, my buddy, he DJs, he's got his own music channel, and he's into a whole lot of different stuff. But this trucking business was going to be his primary income. He was going to build it up and then bring people in to replace himself and his partner. But his business partner had a full-time job. So the business partner didn't care if they didn't get a lot of loads or they weren't that profitable, because he's going to work 9 to 5 every day, getting that paycheck. And my boy was like, yo, man, I got to eat, man. If you do your job and I do my job, then we're able to take a little bit of money out of here. Not a lot, but just a little bit of money. And the problem was that the financial needs were different for both people. This dude didn't even care about that money, and it showed because he didn't put forth effort in the business, where my boy was like, yo, I'm trying to take this business and turn it into something that I can retire off of. And so understanding your partner's financial needs. Number 3, define your roles, responsibilities, and expectations beforehand. I'm going to repeat that. Define your roles, responsibilities, and expectations beforehand. Not once you in the mix, right? Now, things may change, but you need to have some definition of who's doing what and the expectations, right? So make sure that they're written down and signed off on. Yeah, I know it's your cousin. I know it's your best friend from the sandbox. I know it's your wife. I don't care who it is. Make sure these things are written down and signed off on. So define your roles, responsibilities, and expectations beforehand. Once again, expectations make or break any relationship. I don't care, business, personal, whatever. If you're not meeting or exceeding expectations and you have a partner, guess what? There's going to be issues, consequences, and repercussions or whatever, right? So that's something that you got to understand, and it needs to be written down. I don't care how good friends you are. I've been in business, like I told you about the bamboo pillow. This is one of my he's like my brother. Both of these guys who are really physical brothers, they're just like my brothers, but it's business. And so we had to sever that business relationship. Okay. Also, another way you want to look at is always have a separation agreement before you partner. And this is something that I'm guilty of because I didn't do this, or we didn't do this. We've been friends for so long, 30 years or whatever. We didn't even write that down. Okay. But make sure this is done in writing so that all parties know the procedures and what they will receive if the partnership dissolves. That needs to be written down in advance. Yo, if I'm walking out of this 3-person partnership, then, I need my 33rd and the 33 and the third percent or whatever. So that all needs to be written down, and it's a fail safe. You don't go into, it's just like a marriage. You don't go into a marriage thinking you're going to get divorced. Okay. You don't go into business partnerships thinking it's going to dissolve, but it might. So this way, so you don't have to haggle and fight about, what's what. Have this all down so you understand what happens with this separation if this partnership is dissolved. And it's funny, my boy I was telling you about with the trucking company, he didn't have that done. So they were fighting and kind of wrangling. And finally, he was like, yo, it don't even matter because I already started my other company and you're not serious. So I'm about to go ahead and do my thing. So it's funny. I talked to, speaking of the bamboo pillows, the guy that kind of recruited us and got us on. He was like, yo, man, he told me off the muscle. He was like, yo, man, only partner I got is my wife. He said, I don't have partners in business. He said, I've been there, done that. And he was like, a lot of times they don't work. And it's funny because I was like, yeah, I get it. But it was so crazy because he told me, he said, yo, man, I see the way you're working and your other man is working. But this dude right here, he's not serious. And, we tried to talk to my boy, but once again, his objectives weren't the same. Okay. His goals and objectives were he wanted to sell pillows just to make some money. Our goal was to build a brand where we can move out of being in the mall and hiring people and overseeing, staff of 8-9 people. Our goal was to be the actual supplier of the pillows. We had the manufacturers. We had the trademark, the logo. We were about to pull the trigger. It was just getting crazy. So finally, we had to shut that thing down. But once again, guys, today's show is the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business. Now, before we get to the last quarter of the show, let me just share some information with the BEB family, my social media contact information and resource links. Now, everything I'm going to tell you guys is on the website. Beautiful, new, updated website. Go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. If you want to take the shortcut, go to bebconnect.com. It's going to take you right to the website. Everything I'm about to tell you guys. So, number 1, I mentioned at the top, guys, my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. If you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy, $14.95 for the print version, $9.95 for the digital version. Now, if you need additional assistance building your successful e-commerce business, pound for pound, the best course on the market, Brand Builder Academy Elite, BBAElite.com. It's a 15-week implementation program that takes you from product ideation all the way to product creation and selling on your own site and other applicable sites, pound for pound. The best course out there if you want to do e-commerce and build a physical products brand or a digital products brand. Now, I also mentioned at the top of the show, 2 platforms I created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community. BeSmartByBlack.com. If you are a Black product producer and want to sell your products to Black consumers, upload your product information to BeSmartByBlack.com. It is free. Now, for all you freelancers, I didn't forget about you. If you do stuff on Fiverr.com or Freelancer.com, upload your information to HireBlackFreelancers.com, HIRE, BlackFreelancers.com. Once again, it is free, and connect with Black businesses and Black consumers that want to hire Black freelancers. I also mentioned, guys, BEBacademy.com, which is an online portal that has all types of different tracks to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ, from starting your business, incorporating your business, marketing, e-commerce, finance, all types of different content in the academy. BEBacademy.com. Get 3 days free access. Once again, you can go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, click the learn button, and you will see all of the content that I'm talking about, my books and everything. Now, if you want to reach out and connect with me, anything long, guys, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. And anytime I say J Jones, I'm spelling it out, JAYJONES, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001. Instagram, I got 2 IG accounts. The first one is J Jones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the podcast. Clubhouse, if you're on there, get at me at I am J Jones. LinkedIn, connect with me, J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. And also, don't forget my new companion podcast, Ask J Live. Every Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. You have an opportunity to connect with me, ask me questions live on air about your business, my business, or entrepreneurship in general. Just go to askjlive.com. Once again, everything I just talked about is on the website. Please utilize the website because we just rebranded it. We redid it. We have all types of resources on there. So you can go to the Learn tab, click that, and you'll see all types of resources and content for e-commerce, scaling your business, financing, side hustles, mindset and strategy, all types of content on there, be it podcasts, interviews, it could be resources, templates, online courses, everything. BlackEntrepreneurBlueprint.com. We want that to be the place where Black entrepreneurs go for their resources. Now, let's talk about the final aspect of the show here. I just want to give some takeaways and some closeouts here. Number one, guys, when I say the 5 dumbest things entrepreneurs do that will kill their business, like I said, I'm not calling people dumb because I'm guilty of a couple of these, right? But I learned through trial and error. And if you don't have to go through the things that I did, that's my job to make sure you don't have to deal with it. Number one, you don't have proof of concept, so you always want to have proof of concept. Number 2, you have no idea how to market your product or service effectively. Number 3, you aren't clear about who you serve and the one outcome you provide. Number 4, you give up too much equity when you start your business. And number 5, you don't pick equally yoked partners to partner with. And these things, guys, are no joke. Make sure that you check out and sign up for the newsletter. All the show notes are in the newsletter. So when you go to the website, you'll see join us or newsletter. Just sign up. The newsletter comes out every Monday and Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have all types of resources, different articles and things about Black entrepreneurship that you should be on top of. So make sure when you go to the website, you sign up for the newsletter. So once again, guys, in terms of being a successful entrepreneur, you got to start, and you're going to make mistakes. So understand and recognize that mistakes will be made. You just don't want to make the same mistake twice. and you just don't want to make a mistake that's going to kill your business. But if you do, you can always come back. I've started over 17 different businesses. 5 of them were abject failures off the muscle. All right. My wife was like, damn, what's this dude doing now? Then I had like 5 of them that were, average businesses. I had like a couple of real good businesses, and I had 2 multi-million-dollar businesses. But in the process, if you hadn't listened to the show for a long period of time, I almost lost it all twice. Being blessed, though, to be able to make a comeback and be in the position that I'm in right now, which to me, I'm living in my genius, which is the intersection of your passion and your talent. So basically, I get up every day. I'm super excited. I'm a little overworked because I got a lot of projects that I'm working on. But every project that I'm working on and everything I'm doing is something that I'm passionate about and something that I'm serious about, something that needs to get done. So I'm following my assignment. And sometimes, guys, your assignment is not necessarily what you want to do, but you need to do it. And this is what you're supposed to do. So in the Bible, when Moses was leading the people out of Egypt, right? He was like, man, how am I supposed to do this? That was his assignment. And he knew that he had to fulfill that assignment. So sometimes we have assignments that we don't necessarily understand why, but that you have to do it. And one of my assignments is to be blessed to be a blessing and to be able to share with Black entrepreneurs, with the Black community, how to build, economic empowerment. And that's what this show is all about. Building economic empowerment, because economics controls everything. It controls politics. It controls media. It controls education. It controls the narrative. And so if we can't control that and put our own images out and tell our own stories in our own voice, then we got a problem. Because when you let somebody else tell your story, they're going to tell the story any way they want it. And most times they'll tell it to make them look good. So we're going through a situation right now where people are fighting about critical race theory. So it happened, it's history, and it can't be swept under the rug. But once again, that's somebody else's narrative. Other people are trying to control what the public sees. And so if you control the media, you control the minds. That's why I always say garbage in is garbage out. Ain't nothing wrong with entertaining yourself, but you got to understand what you put in your head. You got to make sure that your kids aren't putting garbage in all the time and don't have anything else to balance it out. I know kids are going to be kids, but you need to have something positive in there that's going to help you create and do positive things. You look at a lot of the music, you look at a lot of the videos, you look at a lot of that stuff. We are the only community that focuses on trauma. Trauma is money in our community. Oh, I'm robbing somebody, I'm shooting somebody, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. In not all the rap songs and all that, but trauma sells, right? Man, start looking at the music coming from other communities and what they're talking about. And I understand you may be spitting about what's happening in your neighborhood. I get that. Been there, done that, understand that. But we got to start putting more stuff out in the universe, positive things to offset what's going on. I don't want to get on another rant because that's actually a whole nother show. But before we close on out, guys, make sure if you are in the LA area, please come on out. I'd love to meet you guys in person. BEBlive.com. I'm going to be out in LA, West Hollywood on Saturday, April 9th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Interviewing my man Melvin Graham. Upcoming film, Amazon Prime release called Black Business LA. We're going to talk about Black entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about Black businesses. We're going to have a Q&A session where you guys can ask Melvin and his crew questions. You can ask me questions, all that type of stuff. And after that, we're going to have a meet and greet. We'll have some libations and food there, and it is all free. So make sure you go to BEB Live. Register now. It's free, but we need to keep track of the amount of tickets that are sold because it's limited seating and it's going fast. Go to BEBlive.com, Saturday, April 9th, 1 to 4 p.m. Also, I say this each and every week, guys. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the new super website we got rocking over here, and also the ecosystem. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.